I'm your host, Karen the Intern, and we're going to have an excellent show tonight. So strap in, folks, and come on along. First of all, we're going to talk about our live shows coming up. So make sure you get your tickets at 365prowrestling.com. And while you're here on YouTube, definitely check out Combat and Island Main Event Tuesday, our sister shows here on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. And of course, if you are so inclined, maybe like and subscribe. We'd really love that. And you can always make a comment below the video and maybe leave a comment for your favorite wrestlers or ask some questions. All right, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our guest for the evening. He has a new job at 365, which I've just found out about, so I'm very excited to get all the 411, if you know what I'm talking about. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to the Infinite Legacy, the new commissioner of 365 Pro Wrestling. Come on over. How's it going?
Good. How are you, Karen?
Very good. So congratulations, first and foremost, on
Thank you.
Your recent promotion, I guess.
Yeah, we can call it that.
Role change.
Yeah, I like
anyway.
that.
Yeah,
like that
okay, that's fair. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here, of course.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. So you are the commissioner now of 365 Pro Wrestling. What does that mean for our folks out in YouTube land?
Okay, so basically what it means is I hurt myself, so I'm not able to be in the ring. So I talked to, I guess you would say, 365 Pro Wrestling upper management. We worked out a deal, and I presented them with an idea that I could maybe try to bring a little bit more order to the chaos that has been 365 Pro Wrestling for the last year and a half.
Right.
And they agreed that maybe a little bit of change was a good thing. So to keep me around, they decided that they would offer me the job, and I, of course, accepted. It was my idea, so so here I am. And my role as commissioner is basically just I can make matches. I don't make all the matches, but I interject myself when I see fit, when I think there might need to be a little bit of evening of the playing field.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Okay.
And I'll go out during a show and address the crowd, see how everyone's doing, and maybe make a few special announcements when I have them.
Oh,
So
well,
that
that's
is
very exciting.
basically my role in 365 Wrestling right now.
Okay. I like that. So a few weeks ago, I actually interviewed Tex Lexus, who is the GM
Yep.
out in Ontario for 365. And so it sounds like you guys have kind of similar things going on.
Yeah, that's basically the same role, different title.
Yeah. And he wears a cowboy hat, but you do not. So.
I do have a hat. I probably should have brought my commissioner hat with me today, but
you have there's a hat?
I wore it at the show. I don't know why I didn't bring it today. I guess it's because I'm not doing any commissioning. I didn't feel
at the moment, right?
Now.
You're not here in the official capacity.
No.
As commissioner.
No.
Yeah.
This is fun. This is not business.
Okay, I like that. That is exactly the vibe I was going for. So I'm glad you picked up on that.
Perfect.
Amazing, because I'm not a manager yet. I'm still like an intern, right? So
how long is the internship?
It's been a while. I'm not gonna lie. And I don't know what the next steps are. I was thinking, now that you're kind of moving into more like almost like a management role, if you had any like insight at any point on how I might be able to like climb up the ladder a little bit.
I could speak to some people.
I mean,
that's the best I can do.
But
I can definitely speak to some people.
I would be so grateful for that. Yeah.
I will do that for you.
But to be fair though, I am grateful for my role as the intern. This has been a really, really fun ride, but yeah, I mean.
And you do a great job at it.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I can't be an intern forever though.
Can you?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see, I guess.
I'll be like the oldest intern that ever lived.
That's something to strive for.
It'll be legendary.
Exactly.
legendary. So I mentioned that, well, maybe I didn't mention, but I saw you on Saturday.
Yes.
We were at the White Eagle Polish Hall in James Bay, Victoria.
Mhm.
And it was a pretty chaotic, crazy, mayhem-filled night, as it usually is, where
Yeah.
365 is concerned.
Yeah.
And so you made a little announcement.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was that?
So, I had a couple different people returning to 365 that hadn't been there in a while. First off, Judas Icarus and Travis Williams, both halves of Sinner and Saint.
Yep.
Very exciting. They always have great matches. Everyone in Victoria really loves watching them, so it's great when they can take time out of their very busy schedule to come over and provide some incredible entertainment. They are great entertainers, both great wrestlers, both very good friends of mine. Also, there was one other good friend of mine that has been away from the wrestling ring for, I think it's been 8 months, something like that. And Eddie Osborne just so happened to not have a match on the show, and he was really upset about that. So I decided to give him a match. Lack Siddhartha was not the returning person, but he was also not scheduled for a match. So
Right.
I thought me and Eddie have not been seeing eye to eye for the last long time since I've been back. So that was just kind of funny for me, to be perfectly honest. But more towards the heart part of it, it's like this guy who was out for 8 months. He is one of my best friends in wrestling, one of my favorite people to be in the ring with, and he is an incredible wrestler as well. I got to announce the return of Crofton.
Crofton's back.
Finally. Very exciting. It's unfortunate that our paths were not able to cross. We were both injured at different times, so we weren't able to have a one-on-one match over the last year and a half. But hopefully, now that he is back, and when I get back, we can have that one-on-one match. But for now, I'm very excited to just watch him wrestle because it is a joy every time.
Absolutely, it is. And the crowd went nuts.
They were crazy. That whole night it was crazy, but that
That
moment
moment.
was so big and it was so intense to feel that standing in the ring, watching him circle the crowd. It was
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Oh, yeah. I remember in our last interview, last time we spoke, you told me the story about when you came back
Yes.
originally from the injury and the crowd just like went wild when you came out.
Yeah,
And
it was very similar.
yeah,
Very
I
similar.
thought about you in that moment actually when I
Mhm.
saw Crofton having that. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that was good. I mean, it sucks to get injured, obviously, but
Yep.
to have those moments of like triumphant comeback, into the ring, also I think pretty special, right?
It really is. It
Yeah.
makes the time away worth it anyway.
Absolutely. So, did any belts change hands on Saturday?
Oh man, let's see. I don't even remember.
Global
It was
Women's?
the women's championship. So Zoe Sager debuted in 365 Pro
Yeah.
Wrestling. She is an incredible wrestler as well. We had a stacked card that night, honestly.
Really did. Yeah.
She is one of the best women's wrestlers in Canada, in my opinion. I've seen her wrestle live a few times, and every time is amazing. She's amazing. Magna Mel had a very good run as our
Yes,
champion,
yeah.
and she put up a great fight. But Zoe is a hell of a competitor, and she is going to be real tough to take that belt off of.
Well, and the good news for us now that she's holding that belt, we're going to see a lot more of her around
Yes.
365 now.
Yes.
So
Well,
that's
that
a
is
good thing
a
for
very good
her.
thing.
But hopefully we haven't seen the last of Magna Mel because I think she could definitely maybe have a rematch
Oh,
at some
definitely.
point.
And she's still very early on in her career, and
Mhm.
she's doing really well for the stage that she's at. So she has a lot of good things in her future for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, did Devin Shooter lose a belt too?
Yeah, so okay, this is why I forgot. This was a crazy night. There was so much happening.
So
But
much.
so Devin Shooter versus Elliot Tyler in the main event was our first ever no ropes combat match.
No ropes, you guys. This was nuts. Have you ever seen a match like that before ever?
I have not very many though, and it's not it's a kind of a rare thing. And I had the idea to make that stipulation because first of all, Devin Shooter, great. And again, we have a lot of great wrestlers in 365 wrestling. I'm not going to put anyone down for their talent inside the ring. but some of the ways he does things, it just rubs everyone the wrong way. He cuts a lot of corners. That wrench is a problem.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And the last time that I was in the building when he had a match against Elliot, he used the ropes and he got the 3. 1, 2, 3. The ref counted it, so it still counts, but he clearly had a hold of the ropes, and you can't do that.
No.
So I allowed the win, but instead of giving Shooter the opportunity at the belt, which he ended up winning the next show anyway, so it actually made it a moot point in a way, because this was supposed to be a number 1 contenders match, but it actually turned into a title match. So I decided to take away the ropes. So Shooter can't use anything. He can't use the wrench. He can't use the ropes. He has to beat Elliot Tyler in a straight-up wrestling match. And he was not able to.
No.
I would say probably an upset. Elliot Tyler won the 365 Global Championship. He made Devin Shooter tap out in the middle of the ring.
Which is crazy, because I don't think I've ever seen Devin Shooter lose to submission. I don't know that he ever has.
Yeah, not since I've been around, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He's barely lost at all. So
well, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
This was a very big moment, not only for Elliot Tyler, but for 365 Pro Wrestling.
It was huge.
And as a good friend of his, someone who's seen him from the time he was like a teenager, just this guy works harder than anybody. He has one of the best wrestling brains that I know about. And the term "you deserve this" in wrestling has kind of become a cliche in a way. It's overused sometimes, but in this instance, I don't think there's anyone that deserves that belt more than Elliot Tyler. So that was a very big moment in a lot of ways.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I have seen Elliot Tyler in just some crazy, crazy matches. So, of course, what comes to mind is the infamous death match from a few months ago. I don't remember exactly when that was, but I had to talk to my therapist a little bit about it. It was a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That was an intense thing to watch. Like, I've never been in the audience for something like that, like especially to that level. And to see 3 people that I really like almost kill each other, like, it was really intense.
It was a lot.
And so, like, for him even to be able to like put himself through what he went through and then pick himself back up and have this series of matches with Shooter that has been great and culminating in the win last Saturday, it just shows how amazing and talented he really is.
That absolutely. And so, like you said, you know, you don't want to throw around deserve too much, but I think he worked for that. He worked really, really hard for that.
That is exactly the way I would put it. He worked his ass off for a long time.
Yeah, put everything on the line for that moment, and he got it. So that's what wrestling's all about, right? It's chasing that exact moment, right?
You're very right. Very right.
It makes me kind of want to be a wrestler just to have that, you know, experience. But then I'm like, I would be broken in half. Like, there's no question in my mind. I'm not cut out for that.
I mean, it's tough, and like, if you know that, then you're probably right. if that's what you have in your head, like, that's probably a good thing you're the intern.
Yeah. Exactly. It's know your role, people. Like, this is the thing.
Because trust me, I'm broken too. So I it's hard for anybody.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so we are probably going to have to take a break pretty quick here, but I want to talk to you a little bit when we come back about how you're doing, physically in terms of the injury, and also talk about if there's ever a road back for you to the ring. All right, so don't go anywhere, you guys. We will be right back with more Karen about wrestling and Commissioner Legacy. are back. I'm Karen the Intern, and you are watching Karen About Wrestling on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. I'm here with Commissioner Legacy this evening. And so, again, so happy to have you here.
Happy to be here.
And so, we talked a bit in the last segment about you are the commissioner now. And so, in our last interview, we kind of talked a lot about the injury that you suffered. And at that time, we weren't really sure if what your comeback was going to look like or what the timeline was. And so tell us where you're at now.
Okay, so I can't exactly remember where I was at when I was here the first time, but I know it was kind of up in the air. So at this point, I've seen a surgeon, and we both think it's probably best that I try to rehab it without surgery. And I had an MRI done. There's a torn meniscus in my left knee, probable arthritis on the same spot, so it's kind of a double whammy. It's not really limiting me in life per se, but as I've said on here, and we all know, wrestling is one of the hardest things you can do to yourself on your body, and I'm just not in that kind of shape yet to be back in the ring. In terms of how long I might be out, I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna try to do as much as I can to rehab it in as quickly as I can, but I don't want to push myself because I know I've done that before in the past and it hasn't worked well. So um, I'd say my goal is to be back in the ring in 6 months. If it takes a little longer, it takes a little longer, and it is what it is. And I'm happy that I still have a role with the company,
Yes.
and I'm still able to help train all the new wave of wrestlers and talent that you will eventually see in the ring. Some of them you may have already once or twice, but we have a lot of very eager trainees at the Pro Wrestling Academy, and we train every Tuesday and Wednesday, so I still get to be a part of that as well, which is very exciting for me.
Absolutely. I love that even though you are injured and can't, actually, you know, do the whole wrestling thing, right? But that you are still finding ways to be connected and you're not like, distancing yourself from it, kind of immersing yourself still in it,
Yeah.
staying connected with it. I love that. I think that that's like kind of integral to like resilience, and like
Yeah, yeah.
kind of keeping it going. But not everybody, I guess, reacts that way. Some people just really have that like, no, if I can't be
And
participating, I just really can't be around it, and I totally understand that too, right?
and I totally understand both sides as well because that's kind of what I did the first time around is I really did disconnect from the whole wrestling scene. And when I came back, it was actually hard for me because I felt like that wasn't maybe the right decision. But in a way, it's something I had to do at the time, and I know that my friends in wrestling all understand that, and they're very good about welcoming me back so lovingly. And so this time around, I really feel like I have to stay connected, or for my own sanity, really. But
Right.
also, there's a lot of these trainees like happen to look up to me, and it's weird for me. Like I'm not super comfortable in that position as like a role model, I guess,
Yeah.
for people. But it is what it is, and I'm trying to embrace it as much as I can. And I know that I have a lot to offer to a lot of people in wrestling. So I'm doing my best to do that and keep that avenue open.
I love that. I think that's super important. And again, at a time when you're not necessarily able to be in the ring,
Mhm.
that you're using your, knowledge to, help build up the next group of wrestlers. I
The
just love
next
that. Yeah,
generation.
I just love that so much.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really good. So, I wanted to Becky Beach, of course, is injured as well right
Yes.
now. She's
Yes.
recovering from a broken leg. Like, holy crap. So
Mm.
lots of injuries happening.
Yep.
Haviko also injured at the moment.
Yeah. It is a theme right now,
It really is.
unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. And what I see in all these wrestlers is like I was mentioning, like a lot of resilience.
Mhm.
There's a lot of just like not laying down. You're not gonna die. You're gonna just keep finding a way to push forward. Where do you think that comes from? Where does it come from for you?
Um, Personally, for me, it probably comes from my dad. Like over anything else. Like I grew up and My dad is. We went over it a little bit last time I was here. He's a little crazy. I use the term crazy. He wasn't like totally psyched that I kept telling everyone he was crazy, but like in the best possible way.
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up watching him play sports, and he was never like the most talented or like the most athletic. But the one thing for sure in every instance, in every sport he played, he was the most resilient. That is the best word to use because he would just go to and past his limit every single time to the point where people just can't deal with that.
Yeah.
And so he excelled in a lot of these things that maybe he wasn't as talented at because of that. And I adopted that in my own young life when I was playing sports. I basically tried to mirror how he did everything. And that really did lead into the way I wrestle, the passion that I have for wrestling, because he was a big part of that too. Like he let me and my brother watch wrestling when we were way too young to be watching. Like he would go to the video store with us to rent VHS videos back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. Because they had the parental advisory stickers on them, so we couldn't go down there and rent them ourselves. So he would rent us the wrestling videos and watch it with us, and he was just as big of a fan. So he's the main reason why I have that resiliency and why I'm a pro wrestler. So
That's awesome. That's a great story.
and in terms of everyone else, I mean, it's just like almost everyone in wrestling. They have this deep seated like childhood passion for wrestling. It's hard to get into it if you didn't. And like
so true. It's so true.
and a lot of the people that don't really have that, sometimes they'll come and go.
Yeah.
Whereas the people that they grew up really wanting it, like almost it's like it's a pipe dream. Like this is not really a realistic thing. At least it wasn't when I was a kid. Like I wanted to be a wrestler, but I didn't know it was possible.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So like when you grow up thinking that and then you actually get to experience it, it's like something hard to let go of.
That is so true.
Mm.
Yeah. It's like that with me and music.
I totally get that. Yeah.
100%. You know, that yeah, I when you were describing that too, I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about music right now. That's exactly.
Yeah, I can make that connection too. Like you're growing up watching your heroes do what they do on the stage and just being blown away by it. Like you want to do it, but there's not really a connection there to think like, yeah, I can do that. I can.
Yeah.
Until you get to that point where you know you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Until you just kind of get the balls to just do it, whether you're terrified or not. You just gotta do it,
Yep.
right? So that you can prove that you can. Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so you have less hair than you had last time you
Yes.
were here.
Yeah. I was wondering when that would come up.
Yeah. Well, I wrote it right there. Less
Okay,
hair.
there we go.
Question mark.
Definitely exclamation mark, I think. A lot less.
A lot less. So I don't know if I'm sure most of you folks, because you watch the show religiously, faithfully, I'm sure, like and subscribe. That's the last time you were on, had some long, flowy, curly locks.
Yes.
And then now you don't.
I don't.
So how long ago did this happen?
I guess it wasn't that long ago, like 6 weeks or something like that. I assume you're gonna ask why.
Of course. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely the next question.
Okay, so honestly, it wasn't my favorite thing in the world to begin with. Like
The hair?
yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of like upkeep that I'm not interested in, and like digging hair out of the drains and like sweeping out of the corners of the room and like
It just is everywhere, right?
clumps of hair in my clothes out of the dryer. Like I don't need any of that really. And so it was an experiment that I was trying about like a year before I got hurt my first round
Right.
in wrestling. So for whatever reason, I hurt myself and I just kept growing it out. Like I didn't see a reason to get rid of it. And when I came back to wrestling, I'm like, perfect. This is why I kept growing it out, because I actually get to actually figure out if the experiment worked or not. So I wrestled for about a year and a half with the long hair. It was okay. Like I liked it for certain things. Like it looks cool in pictures, and like
cool.
people other people like it more than I do. So like it is what it is. I was trying to appease the audience, right? But I get that's what I was telling myself, I guess. um, but it just got to a point where it was too much. Like I didn't like having to like brush it out of my face all the time, and like I'm just a lot more comfortable with short hair. I always had shorter hair when I was younger. I grew it out like a little bit every now and then, but never long, long.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was the end of the experiment. I was just done.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a psychological thing where I was like, I was hurt again. And like I needed something to change.
Yeah.
So like that was the time and that was the change.
So did you go to barber to get it done, or did you just do it at home and just like just
Oh
brush
yeah, I
yourself?
got home after work one day and I was like, I was in the shower just thinking, yeah, it's over. I got out of the shower, boom, shaved it off. Oh, terrible job. Terrible job. Got back in the shower, cleaned it up. Sat down on the couch. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it like this for a while. And like 5 minutes later, I'm like, I have to fix this. Back in the bathroom, and I did it pretty good. I mean, I just used my phone camera
Yep.
in the mirror, made sure everything was even. It's like it's really not that hard. And like I just every 2 weeks now
You just give her a
re-up and
touch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
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 I love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I agree that hair is a pain in the butt
Yeah.
to have to deal with and do all the time. So I'm with you. Even though I did enjoy, like you said, everybody just loved. I think there was people had a relationship with your hair.
It's true. It's true. It's so weird, but it's very true.
so yeah, but yeah, it obviously looked great
Thank you.
as well
Thank you.
with the shorter hair. But yeah, it took me by surprise when I saw you. I almost like
Right, yeah, everyone,
whoa,
yeah, a lot of people are like, I didn't even recognize you.
exactly.
I'm so used to it, I forgot at this point.
So I'm gonna ask you another wrestling question.
Okay, excellent.
So when you get back in the ring, because we're
Yes.
just gonna say it's gonna happen.
It will at some
At
point
some point.
eventually happen, yeah.
Who would you want your first match to be against?
Oh man, my first match. That's tough. Over the year and a half that I came back, like I pretty much ticked off all of the boxes that of the people that I wanted to wrestle when I came back. Um, Almost all of them in one-on-one singles matches, which are that's my favorite. I do like other matches, but I really like that one-on-one. Like the crowd can really digest everything a lot easier that way.
Yeah.
Um, and so I the one person that got away, I hurt myself the week before it was supposed to happen was Eddie Osborne.
Ooh.
It was supposed to be me versus Eddie for the title, and title aside, that stuff doesn't matter as much to me. Like I just like competing. I like being in the ring. I like performing for the crowd, and being in the ring with Eddie, especially. Like he's the person that trained me. He's one of my best friends in the world. Despite sometimes our differences inside the ring, we usually can put that stuff aside outside of the ring. And so wrestling him in any situation has always been my favorite. He's the person I've wrestled the most in my career by a lot, I think. A lot. I wrestled him a lot. But yeah, that would be my first choice for my first match back.
Nice. Well, if you've wrestled him a lot, then you know all his weaknesses.
All his strengths and not a lot of weaknesses, but there
Yeah.
are a few. There are a few I could isolate and take advantage of.
So did you hear that, Eddie? Eddie watches. Did
He-
you hear
yes.
that, Eddie?
I would say
Legacy's coming for you.
he knows.
So, you know,
He
yeah.
knows.
So you guys are having some like creative differenents,
In a way, you could put it that way.
managerial,
Sure.
you know, philosophy differences.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Let's keep it diplomatic. Sometimes, like, as if people don't know, Eddie is the majority owner of the company, so like he does make some decisions, and sometimes certain things can go to his head, and he clouds his judgment.
Mhm.
So he doesn't make a lot of the time the most logical decisions. Sometimes, not always, but I feel like having me there as a second voice will at least kind of even out the playing field for everyone else, because that's really why I wanted to take this job in the first place, is because I wanted everyone on the roster to have an even chance all the time because everyone really deserves it. Everyone works hard, and that's not always the case in 365 wrestling. Sometimes there's certain people at the top, and they stay there, and no matter what means they use to stay there, they're just rewarded over and over. So I'm trying to take that down a little bit.
I see. So yeah, you're bringing some different philosophy into the whole.
Trying to.
Yeah, interesting.
And I think it's working so far.
Yeah, very well. I want to see how far this goes, and I'm hoping that at some point you and Eddie will
I think we
find
will.
a way to
I think we can.
Yeah, I think so too. And then you'll beat the crap out of him in the ring.
And that's
how
it goes.
All right, well, we are going to have to take another quick commercial break. Don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Karen About Wrestling and Commissioner Legacy.
That's great. Let's go back. But I'm ready.
And we are back. I am Karen the Intern. You're watching Karen About Wrestling, and I'm here with Commissioner Legacy. 2 segments down already, one to go. So this is the segment where we usually try to talk about some non-wrestling related stuff. And, it was brought to my attention recently that a lot of the questions that I ask people are like food related. And I don't know why that is. Maybe because we all eat it. And so it's usually a topic that, is pretty relatable to everyone, except for you, apparently, because if I recall back to our previous interview, a lot of the questions that I was asking you, like about, hamburgers on Vancouver Island and pizza burger tacos and all those potato salad or coleslaw. And you're just like, I don't like any of this.
I'm a notoriously picky eater, and I always have been.
Okay, so we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
We've never done this before, so hopefully this isn't terrible. But
it's
comment below, like and subscribe. But okay, so we're going to play this game, and it's going to be called What Food Will Legacy Eat?
All right.
And I'm going to name a food, and you are going to tell me if you would eat that food.
Okay, easy.
Okay. Here we go. Chicken strips.
I mean, yeah, I'll eat chicken strips. I try to stay away from meat, but I would eat chicken strips.
Okay,
if
so
I ate.
I'm not gonna talk about meat.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Because you're mostly veg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time.
Would you eat Annie's craft dinner?
No.
No. Okay. Would you eat chunky soup out of a tin?
It depends on the soup.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess it would just have to be vegetables.
I mean, yeah. Some of the vegetables. There's a lot of vegetables I don't like as well.
Okay, great. Let's go. Let's get into that. Will you
pick your niche groupings of food, and I'll have something.
Pickles.
I like anything pickled. I will pretty much. I've never tasted anything pickled that I don't like, even things I don't like.
Oh, really?
If you pickle them, I'm pretty good.
You're into it. So what about pickled pickled eggs?
Oh yeah.
You'll eat pickled eggs?
Of course.
I have never actually met a person that eats pickled eggs.
I bought pickled eggs from the store.
Amazing.
You don't know? Oh, okay.
No, I love that. No, this is fantastic. This is going way better than I imagined.
Perfect.
Okay, artichoke hearts.
I don't even know what that would taste like.
Let's see. Celery.
Not a huge fan. I'll eat it, but
it's like basically.
It's weird tasting water.
Yeah.
Stringy. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Not fun to eat. So no thanks.
No. Do you eat salsa?
I mean, certain salsas I'll tolerate. I don't really like, peppers or tomatoes or whatever.
Okay, if you don't like tomatoes, that's like basically salsa.
Yeah, I like dip it in the sauce.
Oh, but you don't like the chunks of tomato. Okay, so you're one of those people. So
Yeah.
you'll eat like tomato sauce, but you
Yeah.
won't eat like
I won't eat a
slice of
tomato on
tomato.
anything.
Okay,
No.
okay. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Do you get really bothered when you say no tomato on something and it comes with a tomato on it?
Yes, it's gross.
Yeah, because the juice is already
It's
on
like
it.
wet and yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I get this. Now I'm a lover of the tomato, but
Fair enough.
I have known a lot of tomato phobic people in my life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you feel about condiments like ketchup?
No. No, no, no. I
No,
like
no,
certain
no,
stuff.
no.
Not
That's
ketchup. God
no,
no. I've
you
never liked ketchup in my life.
really
Yeah, I'm not a
interesting.
not a
What
ketchup
don't
person.
you like about it?
The taste,
Just to
the smell.
what about mustard? Like just a yellow mustard.
Yeah, yeah, I'll eat mustard. I didn't when I was a kid, but I
You've gained an
tolerate
appreciation
mustard
for it.
now. Yeah.
Tolerate it.
If it's a Dijon especially.
What about
It,
olives? Do you like
oh god,
olives?
no.
No olives.
Not at all.
Okay. So are you more like offended by a bad texture or a bad taste?
Both.
Both.
Yes.
So
Tremendously both.
interesting. So this is my problem with fruit.
Okay.
Okay. I love fruit. I'm also a vegetarian, so I tend to
Okay.
just eat a lot of vegetables,
Yep.
right? But the thing about fruit especially, like take a clamshell of blueberries, for example.
Yeah.
And every blueberry you eat tastes different.
Yeah.
It has a different texture.
That's true.
Some are squishy, some are rock hard, some are sour, some are super sweet.
Yeah.
Every one you put in your mouth, it's just a different surprise.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
How do you feel about that? Does that bother you, or are you just like, I don't care, blueberries?
Oh no, that'll bother me in the
Okay.
moment for sure. I'd rather go for like strawberries or like raspberries, but it's all the same principle.
Yes.
Like you get a strawberry that tastes like there's too many chemicals on it or something or
Yes.
whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
I wish I didn't eat that strawberry.
Yes. And I find like this time of the year, the strawberries, they basically lose all flavor. They taste like a
They start
cucumber.
to, yeah. And cucumbers, yeah, I don't like cucumbers.
You don't like cucumber?
No,
Interesting.
but I'll eat a pickle.
But you'll eat a pickle.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I can kinda pickles are just a special food group all to their own, like
Probably only like a dill pickle though, like a sweet pickle. No.
No,
Okay.
no sweet pickles.
Okay.
But you know what I'd like to buy? I don't know what they're called, but they're like a bag of like pre-cut.
Oh, I don't think I could do that.
No?
No, I had a bad experience when I worked at McDonald's, like when I was 15,
Oh.
of their sliced pickles. And now it's like I can't.
So you just want to eat like a whole
bagged slice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so no pickles in a bag.
No,
That's
I try to
that's
stay away
like-
from anything in a bag, to be honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting that from you. So I feel like you're not really into like anything in a can, anything in a box, anything in a bag, anything kind of over processed.
Yeah, I try to stay away from that stuff. Like sometimes I will just eat whatever I want, and it's like it is what it is. And like, but I'm not like a foodie. So I'm not
Right.
like married to like the tastes and the flavors and of like if I'm not having something for a long time, I don't care. It's like I'll have something else or like I I don't think about food the way other people think about food.
This is very relatable to me, and
Okay.
I feel like you're like I feel so seen right now.
Perfect. This is good.
I'm not even kidding. So well, actually, my therapist told me that I lack an emotional attachment to food.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally get that.
Completely lack emotional attachment to food. I
Yeah.
go to food for enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, frig, I gotta eat. So I have been eating the exact same lunch
Mm.
for like 20 years.
Oh, crazy.
Every single day, I just eat the exact same thing
Yeah.
for lunch
Yeah.
because then I don't have to think about it.
Fair
And-
enough. No,
and
I
it's
totally
the
get that.
nutrients I need. It fills my gut up. I'm like got some energy for the next few hours. We're
Yep.
all good. But it doesn't bother me. Like a lot of people are like, I can't eat the same thing every day. I need to have variety. I'm like,
Yeah, see, I could do that. Like I go through like waves though.
phases.
Yeah, totally. Like I'll eat the same thing for lunch and dinner for months at a time. But then like it's more like a psychological thing where I need something to switch. So I'll just
Totally.
start eating something else. But yeah, I definitely have that same non-emotional attachment to food. And it's easy to tell because everyone is so emotionally attached to food. it's crazy.
Like when you see people talking about food, but this is another weird thing about me.
Yeah.
And maybe I shouldn't admit this, but like I love watching people eat.
Yeah, okay. I get that.
I'm like into that. Like
Yeah.
all the videos, I don't know what it's called, the like mukbang or whatever.
Sure.
Like, oh man, I just love watching people mow down on food. Like it's like I don't do it,
Uh,
but I like watching other people do it.
okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I guess. Yeah.
Maybe I'm weird, but yeah. Well, no,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's not
decidedly.
that weird
Yeah.
compared to some things.
Yes. Okay, so we've talked a little bit. We played a little bit of the game of
Yes.
what don't you like.
Yeah.
But I do know, I've been told that the one food that you like really and particularly despise is cheese.
Yes.
So tell me about your issue with cheese.
Okay. My issue with cheese is that it's horribly disgusting.
In all its forms.
Yes, every single form. So like when I was young, I would eat certain things if it was melted on. Like I would eat pizza when I was younger. Like a lot of these like it's probably because that non-emotional attachment is like I need to eat. My parents were having this, so I'm gonna eat
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But as I grew into an adult and started making my own culinary decisions, um, like I have no interest in eating any cheese whatsoever. It's the smell, the texture, the taste, the process and how it's made. It's like there's nothing appetizing about it whatsoever. To me. To everyone else, that's not true at all. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I've only like I was telling you this earlier, I've only met one other person my whole life that doesn't like cheese. Like there's people who are lactose intolerant and I love cheese.
Yeah, they would eat. They're pooping themselves.
Yeah,
But like
it's like I don't care.
Anyway, yeah.
Whatever. But like, yeah, I do not like cheese.
Well, see, like, so I am a cheese lover. It's upsetting to me that you don't like pizza, which I think it upsets a lot of people.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
because every Friday night at 4 o'clock, as soon as I'm done work for the week, I order my what I like to refer as my emotional support pizza.
Okay, your
On
one
Friday night,
emotional
yeah.
food attachment. Perfect.
On Friday night, celebratory, drink a Pepsi and eat 6 slices of pepperoni pizza.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's yeah, I feel
Offended.
not offended, concerned
Okay.
for your well-being.
All right. Pizza is one of those universally loved things.
It really is.
It's weird.
It really is. But you mentioned that you only knew one other person that didn't
Yes.
like, and so was it same like you, like not a lactose issue? It was
Yeah,
just
no,
like,
they
you
just
legit
yeah,
not like any
yeah.
of this.
Yeah, a long time ago too, like 20 years ago. We were in high school or something. And yeah, that's the only person still to this day who have the same mutual hate.
Dislike.
Yes, I would go to hate for that.
Yeah.
For them.
It was way beyond that. It was way beyond dislike. I too only know one other person, I think,
Okay.
other than lactose intolerant people
Sure, yeah,
that
yeah.
have a problem with cheese.
Yeah, a physical problem.
A physical problem with it. I used to a visceral reaction, you might even say.
Yeah.
So I used to have this roommate named Chris, and he was from Newfoundland originally, and he had like 8 brothers and sisters, and so dinner time was like first come first serve. If you're too quick or too weak, you're not getting fed.
Yep.
And he was the runt of the litter, I guess you could say. And so one day this train kind of went by his house, and he was walking by the tracks, and he noticed there was something laying on the tracks, and so he thought, what is this? He went and saw it. It's a wheel of cheese.
Okay.
And he, like a wheel of cheese.
Yeah.
And because he was so worried about his brothers and sisters stealing this cheese away from him, he hid it and ate the entire thing. And then never, ever, ever, ever wanted to eat cheese again. He said he said he didn't poop for 2 weeks. So I think that there's something in this thing about the dislike of cheese.
Yeah, that's a terrible story.
It is.
I don't like that at all.
And it's so weird because this guy was like my roommate like 25 years ago, and I just remember this story all of these years.
How long did it take him to eat this cheese? Like weeks?
I don't know, but I always picture the episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson has that long party sub or whatever, where he's like hiding it behind the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Are you deleting that sandwich? Like that.
Oh, yeah. Exactly like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'd probably feel that way about cheese too if I had to, or if I did eat an entire wheel of it out of spite. Speaking of spite eating.
Okay.
I heard that there's a story about Becky Beach.
Oh, I know where he's going. Yeah.
Spite eating a quesadilla at Taco Bell.
Yes. So, okay. This was an odd situation for me. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this. And this harkens right back to the emotional attachment that people have to food that I just don't understand. Um, so we were all like a bunch of us out after a show. I can't even remember where it was. It must have been Nanaimo, I guess, because that's where Taco Bell is. Is that right?
Yeah,
See,
that's
I don't
right.
even know where we went. This is how much I can give. Like, I don't care. And I would not eat anything from there in the first place. Anyway, everything has cheese and that kind of food. Anyway,
It really does.
so we go in, everyone gets their stuff. We all start sitting down. Everyone's eating. Max Benson is just loving life. Like he never stopped talking about
He's just
Taco
like,
Bell. And like finally, we're in Nanaimo. We get to have
Taco
Max's
Bell.
dream food for some reason. So we're all sitting down and eating. I'm watching them because I'm not gonna eat that. And Becky Beach, it's just out of the corner of my eye, I see this just horrifying look on her face. And she is just like starts complaining about how terrible this quesadilla is. And it's just like in between bites, she just keeps telling us over and over how horrible this meal is. I'm like, why are you eating it? It's like she just keeps shoving it in her mouth. It's like at some point you got to stop eating it if it's that bad. And so she just keeps eating it and eating it. She had two of them, I'm pretty sure. And
Wow.
so her reasoning behind this is she was hate eating or spite eating, as you said.
Yes.
Just like she hated it more than anything, but she paid the money
So
and she needed to eat something. So damn it, she was gonna make it through that awful quesadilla or two. And she did. I mean, bless her heart, but I just don't know why. This is like, I have like a hard time not just with food. Like I don't understand human beings in general a lot of the times.
True
But
story.
this was like living this out in real time. Like I don't know what's going on here. Like just put it down. But she never put it down. She finished the whole thing.
I love that. Well, believe it or not, we've actually like managed to fill up the whole last segment just talking about food and cheese.
Awesome.
I could not be happier about that. I think this went really well, personally. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I had fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again for being my guest.
Anytime.
Legacy.
Anytime.
For sure. And I've been your host, Karen the Intern, and we will see you next time on Karen About Wrestling. Bye.
Awesome.